there, poker player. I'm Rose, and I know everything that there is to know about Zynga poker. Word on the street is that you're curious about one of the newest and most exciting variants of poker, Short Deck Hold'em. This action-packed game is very similar to standard no-limit Hold'em, but there are a few strategic differences that you'll need to keep in mind. Ready to start dragging pots? Listen to me, and you'll be winning in no time. Rule changes. The most noticeable difference between Short Deck Hold'em and Standard Hold'em is the removal of the low cards from the deck. Deuces, trays, 4s, and 5s have all been removed, meaning that the lowest card you can be dealt is a 6. Because Short Deck plays with a smaller amount of total cards, there are also 2 key rule changes to keep in mind. These changes are small, but they're important to remember as you craft your strategy and switch up your gameplay. The first thing to remember is that just like in Standard Hold'em, aces can be used to play a low straight. The lowest straight a player can make in Short Deck is ace, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't forget though, just like in Standard Hold'em, aces can also play as the top end of a high straight. The second and more noticeable rule change is that in Short Deck Hold'em, a flush now beats a full house. This may sound like a strange change, but with fewer total cards in the deck, it's now mathematically harder to make flush. Playing pocket pairs. Now that you understand the rule changes, let's go over some other strategic tips to keep in mind. In Short Deck Hold'em, you're likely to see a lot more pocket pairs. Even better, you'll flop a set with those pocket pairs nearly 1 in 5 times. While this may sound great in theory, don't let it go to your head. Flopping a small set of 6s or 7s isn't quite as powerful as it is in Standard Hold'em. Even if you manage to turn that set into a full house, you'll still need to be wary that you can now be beaten by a flush. If you're going to play small pocket pairs with the hope of making full houses, be sure to keep an eye on the suits on the board to avoid running into a potential disaster. Playing suited cards. With fewer cards of each suit in the deck and the value of flush is increasing, this makes playing suited whole cards a tempting proposition. Not only do flushes beat a majority of other hands, but because there are fewer total cards of each suit in the deck, the possibility of your opponent having a larger flush decreases significantly. Suited cards are also relatively easy to fold early on if you don't catch a piece of the flop. However, you should still be mindful in your hand selection when choosing to play suited cards. More often than not, since other players will also be looking to make big hands, you want to make sure you're drawing to the nuts. This means looking for starting hands that contain an ace along with another card of the same suit. Showdown strong hands. You may have heard the old aphorism in No Limit Hold'em that says, "Don't get married to your aces," meaning that you shouldn't be blinded by the strength of your starting hand after the 5 community cards have been dealt. This is even more apparent when playing Short Deck Hold'em. While it's true that pocket aces remain the best starting hand, if that's all you're holding by the river, you're very likely to lose the pot. Because there are so many chances to make bigger hands, showing down one pair will rarely award you the pot. Similarly, hands like top pair with top kicker also have a much lower value at showdown. This is just a brief overview of what is both a complex and action-inducing game. Want to continue your poker education and keep up to date on all the latest secrets, tips, and tricks? Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to download Zynga Poker from the App Store and hit the tables today.